Mr. Birdie and members of the board, we do have 2 items for board discussion this evening. Our first item is Board of Education goals, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Birdie.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. At our last meeting, we did go over some goals. We set some goals for ourselves, and thank you to Mrs. Gentry Fletcher for jotting them all down, and I kind of summarized them here. And if there's any questions or corrections that we need to make, be happy to discuss that tonight. I know I just handed them to you just now, but if you want to glance over those real quick. And I did wordsmith them a little bit to say that the school involvement, we would try to do 1 or 2 events per quarter instead of 2 to 3 per semester. And I thought about putting the board book study in with personal development, but I thought, well, we'd kind of set that as its own, so I left it alone. Any comments or questions about this goal list?
I do have one question.
Okay.
So I've been researching some possible books for a book study. What would be the board's vision? I'm happy to lead that book study, or would you just like for me to choose the book and the board leads the discussion, or would you like for me to lead that discussion with the board? I do plan, just so you know, since we are doing that book study, I plan on doing a book study with administrators across the district, the same book, and so it's no issue at all for me to lead the discussions here, since I will be leading them with our administrators. So
I think that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I do too. I mean, I definitely prefer to have your vision on it, because I think, one of the reasons it's a good idea, none of us as board members are educators. The pedagogy that goes into teaching and methods, I think in order to better support your vision, if there's literature out there, if there are things that you need us to be educated about, this is an opportunity to do it.
okay, thank you.
I also added to community involvement, I added Butler Tech meetings to that list. You're always welcome to attend. I thought if I put it on the list, it might also come to the forefront of your mind to see, what is done at those meetings.
Yeah.
Hopefully I give good updates, but, it's always nice to come get a free meal and listen to a wonderfully led meeting. And then also, we talked about assigning a board member to the District Community Diversity Alliance, and I listed it as a goal instead of just as a side note. And so I would ask that each of us think about if they would like to sit on that as a committee member. I know that some of us already sit on other committees, or you're our legislative person. So I would open up to anybody that would like to volunteer to sit on it. And if no one volunteers, then we'll pick cards.
I would volunteer. I'm not on another committee, so I would volunteer to be on
Okay,
the committee.
I was kind of joking about the picking cards, because I think it's something that you really want to be a part of to be effective. So,
And I had a chance to speak with Sandy just this past Saturday at the back to school extravaganza. And she was definitely talking about the fact that it has changed scope a little bit, and I'm pretty excited about where it's gone. So it's more of a service organization. So the idea of actually being able to get in there and put some projects together, I think your creativity, your background with the PTC, now I'll try to help support, but I don't have it like you do. So, but I think, your contribution to that would be absolutely great. And I'd like to help a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think the more the merrier. I mean, well, it can't be 3, so. But.
can't be 3.
No, I think a couple of you sitting on the board would be, or the community group would be great, and then maybe you could report back to the board.
Sure.
As far as events that have happened and the planning stages and things like that. That would be awesome. So, hey, we've already got one goal accomplished, so well on our way.
Such overachievers.
So,
Does that get me out of reading?
and then we will just kind of I think the idea would be probably, halfway through the school year, maybe when we come back from Christmas break, to kind of, at one of our work sessions, kind of go over the goals again to say, hey, where have people been and what have we done? So that's kind of where we are. Okay? Great. Thank you all very much for participating in that. I think this is going to make us a better group.
It will. It just makes us a better group. Whatever we do moves us in that direction.
All right. Okay, next item.
All right, our next item for board discussion is class sizes. I'll turn it over to Mr. Martin.
For the 3 weeks or so leading up to the start of the school year, we have a frenzy of activity at district office and our registration department, and many times there are lines out the door, and it's kind of amazing. You'll go over there, and I get reports every morning that I look at to see what the class sizes are in the various buildings, and there'll be a line out the door almost all day, and I look at the numbers. Yesterday was an example of that. Lots of activity, and when I looked at the elementary numbers, 4 buildings had actually gone down a few students, and 2 buildings had gone up. And but every day it's different, and students are moving in and out, and it's a pretty amazing time. But we try to work as much as we can to keep the same number of teachers that we currently have, although we reallocate those. We may move a 4th grade teacher to a 2nd grade class to keep the numbers correct. So it's a lot of activity under the water. We're having a great registration season. We're going to have a great school year. There is just one area right now. I met with all the principals again this morning, and there's just one area that I feel the class sizes are too large. It's in our 2nd grade at North. And right now, the classes, the teachers would have 26 or 27 2nd graders. We try to keep that. We're happy if they're at 23. 24 is okay. 25 is pretty much the limit for 2nd grade. They still need so much attention. So I would like to get your permission this evening to go ahead on just a 1-year basis, hire someone for 1 year to help with the numbers at North in 2nd grade.
And do we have a classroom for them to go
Yes.
in? Okay.
Yes, we do. And that's tomorrow we could get 20 more in the 2nd grade in one school, but right now we've looked, and with 4 days of registration left, we think that we should be okay with the start of the school with just that one addition.
So would this be a Butler County ESC hire, or?
No, this would be a Fairfield hire.
1-year contract?
A 1-year contract and they would be aware that at the end of the year, it would be non-renewed, although they would have the right to post into other positions. Usually those people that do a great job for us find another position at the end of the year.
Bit of a leg up for future positions.
Right.
Sure.
How does that work as far as, if I'm a parent of 2nd grade and I found out I have Mrs. Miami and I'm getting everything ready for Mrs. Miami, but then do I get a letter tomorrow that says, now I've been moved from Mrs. Miami to?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, and unfortunately, we have to do that every year.
Right.
There are late changes every year, and the teachers come together, they rebalance the class load so that the class is nice and balanced, and they call those parents and let them know right away.
Yeah.
Of course, we try to do that prior to the open house, so when the child goes into the open house, they meet their teacher and they know which classroom they're in.
And when is open house?
Open houses are next Monday.
Okay.
Next Monday.
So do you think that that would still be a case here? Like that there would be a teacher before Monday?
That's our
That's the
intention.
goal, okay.
Wow.
We have some, because we've been interviewing.
Yeah.
And we have some good candidates
Yeah.
who are still in the wings waiting.
Gotcha.
For positions, so we have a leg up on that as well.
Okay. I mean, that's better than them starting and as big classes and then splitting up after that. That would be harder.
That's,
Yeah.
I don't know that we've ever done that.
Yeah.
We try to, that's why we monitor it every day.
Yeah.
Relook at every class to make sure that the number's good, and this is about as late as we do that, unless there's some big rush of
Right.
registration that we can't anticipate.
Yeah, okay.
Is there a target experience level that you're trying to?
Well, there's not really, we just want to hire the best candidate available. Sometimes that's a first-year teacher, Sometimes it's someone with additional experience. Most people with experience at this time in the year have positions, but we've hired some extraordinary first-year teachers this year, so we would look to do that. If there's someone with experience, we would certainly look at them, but usually it's a newer teacher.
I mean, how much professional development will they have? I don't know,
That's good. And they will have missed, our curriculum department does several days of professional development. We have an orientation tomorrow, so it is done on the fly to try to get them up to speed. But the principals work very closely with them, would meet with them regularly. And then we have additional PD days coming up throughout the year. But they are, if it's a first-year teacher, they're given a mentor. They meet once a week with that mentor for at least an hour, and they're available for questions. Also, we have such great educators in the district. If they get a new teacher in like that this late in the year, they all surround them, help them, share materials and ideas, so they're not left out there without support.
Okay. Looks like you have our
Thank you very much.
blessing. Thank you.
Thank you.